Okay, we will start the session now. See, in the previous lectures, we have seen the problems on structural analysis. Okay, and in the structural analysis, we have covered first bar under axial load, then we have covered bar under torsional load, we have structural analysis with the thermal effect, we have seen horizontal bar, tapered bar, right? Now for this lecture, we will continue with the structural analysis, but we are going to see the problems on the spring, right? We will see the problems which are on the spring. Okay, so let's consider this problem. Okay, I'm writing the problem. The displacement determine the displacement determine the displacement at the nodes determine the displacement at the nodes by using determine the displacement at the nodes. Okay, and find support reactions and find support reactions support reactions. Determine the displacement at the nodes and find support reactions Okay, so let's see what is given in the problem. Okay, first see. Okay, so this you have as a fixed support. This is fixed support. On this fixed support, they have attached one spring with the stiffness K1, Okay, to other end of the spring, they have attached two springs. Okay, they have attached two springs. One it is K2, one spring is K2, second spring is K3, right? At the free end of the K2, they have applied one load that is measuring 100 kilonewton, right? To other end of the spring K3, they have attached one more spring, okay, that is K4, and other end of the spring K4, they have attached to fixed support. Okay, and at the joining of the link, spring K3 and K4, they applied the load 200 kilonewton. Right? What they have given? They have given the values of the stiffness. Use K1 is equal to 100 Newton per mm. K2 is equal to 300 Newton per mm. K3 is equal to 150 Newton per mm. Right? K3 is equal to 150 Newton per mm. K4 is equal to 200 Newton per mm. K4 is equal to 200 Newton per mm. So these are the values given, right? See, what is the problem? Determine the displacement at the nodes, find support reactions. Okay. Huh? Voice is low. I think from my side it is very. From my side. Okay, no problem. So this is our problem. Determine the displacement at the nodes and find support reaction. Okay. So we are supposed to determine the displacement. What is the displacement at the nodes? Okay, and the support reaction. So see, you will get the displacement at the nodes when you form the nodes, right? And you will get the support reaction where you have fixed support, right? Getting or not? So this is basically the problem which is given, right? So our very basic step is to discretize the system, right? What is the discretization? Is to divide the entire domain into number of subdomains. Okay. So here, see, every element of this spring, every spring is an element. Every spring is an element, right? So K1 is a one element, this K2 is another element, K3 is another element, K4 is another element, right? So see, if you see this problem, okay, elements have been already formed because every spring is an element, right? Every spring is an element, right? So what I will do is clear. So this is, I will redraw that diagram. K1 Okay, then this is K3, this is K2, right? This is K2. Okay, this is K4, this is K4. See, I'm basically just drawing that diagram again. I'm just drawing the diagram again. This is K4, K2. Okay, at the free end of the K2, we need to apply to 100 kilonewton. Okay, here we need to apply 200 kilonewton. Right. See, this has been already given in the problem. K1, K2, K3, K4, and these loads they are given, right? So elements have been already formed. Okay, so I will call this as element number 1, right? This is element number 1. This is element number 2, right? This is element number 3, right? This is element number 4. This is element number 4. Is it okay? Only I have assigned the elements. Every see already there are elements. Just you need to write down those elements inside a triangle. So element number 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, once you have formed the elements, okay, the after that you need to assign the nodes, numbering to the nodes, right? So what we'll do, we will start from left and we will move towards right. Okay, so let me call this as node number 1. This is node number 1. I'll call, right? I'll call this as node number 2, right? I will call this as node number 3, right? I will call this as node number 4, okay? And I will call this as node number 5. If you want to number it differently, you can go like 1, 2, like 1, 2. You can have this as a 3, this as 4, and this as 5. It doesn't matter, right? But when you are writing the element stiffness matrix, okay, and when you are giving the rows and columns to that particular matrix, at that time you should properly write down. See here, this element number 2, it is between 2, 3. So you need to write down 2, 3, 2, 3 like that. Element number 3, it is between 2, 4. So you need to write down 2, 4, 2, 4. Okay. So this care you're supposed to take when you're assigning the rows and columns to element stiffness matrices, right? So see, this problem, it is basically belongs to spring. Okay, so we should first write down what is EME, element matrix equation. Okay, what is the EME? It is K into directly 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? Into U1 U2 U1 U2 is equal to F1 F2. See, this is element stiffness matrices, element matrix equation, right? This is element matrix equation, right? And this particular term, it is called as element stiffness matrix, right? This is to be multiplied by displacement is given by force, right? Clear? So this element stiffness matrices multiplied by displacement, element stiffness matrices multiplied by displacement is given by force. Element stiffness matrices multiplied by displacement is given by force, right? Now we need to write down this element stiffness matrices for element number 1. Okay, we need to write down for element number 1. For element number 1, stiffness is K1. What is the value of K1? It's 100. It's 100. So 100 into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? Is it okay or not? So what I will get? I'll get it 100 minus 100 minus 100 and plus 100. Is it okay? 100 minus 100 minus 100 plus 100, right? But if you see element number 1, it is between 1 2. Okay, so assign the numbers like 1 2 and 1 2. See here, this is very important, 1 2 1 2, because this will determine whether you correctly form the global stiffness matrices or not, right? Now we need to go for stiffness matrix of element number 2. Stiffness matrix of element number 2, right? So what you will write down? You need to write down again this, but stiffness of element number 2, it is 300, right? So this is to be written as 300, right, into 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, right? So you'll get 300 minus 300 minus 300 and plus 300, right? Now see this element number 2, element number 2. This is element number 2 whose stiffness is K2, and what is the value of K2? It's 300 that we have taken, right? Now see, if you see element number 2, it is between node 2 and 3. Okay, so here you need to write down this is 2 3. Right? Now we need to write down the stiffness matrix for element number 3. Stiffness matrix for element number 3, right? So what is stiffness matrix for element number 3? Okay, this see element number 3 is having a stiffness K3. And what is the value of K3? It's 150, right? So it's 150 into 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1, right? So E is equal to 150 minus 150 minus 150 and plus 150, right? Now see, if you can see this element number 3, it is between node 2, 4, 2, 4. So likewise, you need to write down 2, 4 and 2, 4, right? Now, if you go for stiffness matrix of element number 4, okay, this is basically element number 4, whose stiffness is K4. Okay, what is the value of K4? It's 200. So it is 200 into 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1, right? So you'll get 200 minus 200 minus 200 and plus 200, right? Now see, this element number 4, it is between node 4 and 5, right? So accordingly, you write down 4, 5, right? Is it okay? So what you have done, basically, you have written element stiffness matrices. You have written element stiffness matrices, right? So our next step will be to form the global stiffness matrices, right? So based on these element stiffness matrices, we need to form the global stiffness matrices, right? So before that, you should write down what is the size of global stiffness matrices. What is the size of global stiffness matrix? Okay, global matrix. Okay, so what is the size of global matrix? Tell me, all of you. Okay, how you will calculate size of the global stiffness matrix? Tell me.
4 by 4.
Right, it is 4 by 4. How you got this? Because you have number of nodes multiplied by degree of freedom. Your total 4 nodes, and each node can move only in one direction. Okay. So what is the size of global stiffness matrix? See how many nodes are there. Basically, there are no 4 nodes. There are 5 nodes. Just see here. How many nodes you have? There are 5 nodes, right? So number of nodes are 5 multiplied by each node can move only in one direction. So you'll get its size as 5, right? So just write down this. Okay, we need to write down global stiffness matrices. Okay, we need to make that many rows and that many columns. Okay, so I'll write down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. Again, I will go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. So this many number of rows I will get. I will get 5 rows. I will get 5 columns. Right. Right. Now see, this is basically a global stiffness matrix where we need to put individual element matrices. Right. Now let's start with K1, element stiffness matrix of element number 1. Okay, how will put it is 1, 2, 1, 2. So just getting starting point. What is the starting point? It's a 1, 1. So at the location 1, 1, you have 100. Okay, this is 100, right? Just side of that, it is minus 100. Here you will get minus 100, and here you will get plus 100, right? See this one. Just pick that matrices, place it here, right? Now go to stiffness matrix of element number 2, that is K2, right? So from where this will start, it will start from 2, 2. So at 2, 2, you need to write down 300, right? So at 2, 2, I need to write down 300, right? 300 I've written. Just side of that, it is minus 300. Here I should write down minus 300. And here I should write down 300. Is it okay or not? Let me know. Let me know, all of you.
Yes.
Now go to stiffness matrix of element number 3. See, here you need to be more careful, because here it was 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. It's a straightforward, but here it is not the case. Here you have 2, 4, 2, 4, right? So every element you need to pick and place properly, right? So let's see this element 150. It is at 2, 2. At 2, 2, I need to put 150. See here. At this is 2 and this is 2. So at 2, 2, I need to put plus 150, right? So here I will write down plus 150. Plus 150, I need to write down here. Okay, getting? Next, at 2, 4, I need to write down minus 150. So at 2, 4, I need to write down minus 150. Okay. Next, at 4 2, it is minus 150. So this is 4, this is 2, this is minus 150, right? Next at 4 4 it's 150. So this is 4, this is 4, it's 150. Clear? Next, come to this. Okay, stiffness matrix of element number 4. It is 4 5 4 5, straightforward. So just get the starting point. 4 4 4 4, it's a starting point, right? So at the location 4 4 you have 200, right? So here you write down plus 200, here you write down minus 200, here you write down minus 200, and here you write down plus 200. Is it okay? Is it okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everybody understood this one? See, this is how you are forming the global stiffness matrices by using element stiffness matrices, right? So now see, somewhere, okay, you don't have any terms, right? So there you need to put 0. Okay, there you need to put 0. Getting or not? Now see, if you want, okay, all of you see this one. Wherever you don't have any elements, there you need to put it as 0. Now see, we need to check whether we have formed that matrix clearly or not. Okay, correctly or not, rather, right? Now see, can you see the node number 2? At node number 2, 3 elements are connected, right? At node number 2, 3 elements are connected, right? So at 2 2, you are getting 3 terms. At 2 2, you are getting 3 terms, right? Now if you go for node number 4, again there are 2 elements are connected, right? So at 4 4, you are getting 2 terms. Getting my point or not? At 4 4, you are getting again 2 terms, because at node number 4, 2 elements are connected, right? That means, okay, you have correctly formed the global stiffness matrices from element stiffness matrices, right? Now, see, you have global stiffness matrices. So next step will be solving this global stiffness matrices, okay, by writing the equation of GME. Okay, so what is GME? This is global stiffness matrix. This is to be multiplied by displacement is given by force, right? So this equation you need to solve. Simple, right? So just write down this equation, rather this matrix. This is 100 minus 100 0 0 0, right? Then minus 100. Tell me this one. 300 400 500 550 550, right? Then minus 300 minus 150 0, then 0 minus 300 300 0 0, right? 0 minus 150 0, then this is 350, right? Then this is minus 200, then this is 0 0 0, minus 200 and plus 200, right? This is your global stiffness matrix. Clearly, see, this global stiffness matrix has to be multiplied by displacements. So there are 5 nodes, so there will be 5 displacement: u1 u2 u3 u4 and u5, right? 5 displacement is given by, so obviously there are 5 forces: f1 f2 f3 f4 and f5, right? So there are 5 forces. Is it okay? Is it okay with this one?
Yes, sir.
Let me know. Is it okay with this one?
Yes, sir.
Now my question is, see, now we have reached to matrices, right? Now we have reached to matrices, global matrices, right? Now tell me how I should solve this equation. How I should solve this equation? Tell me. How should I solve this equation?
Sir, cancel u1 and u5.
Why I should cancel u1 and u5?
Sir, it's fixed there.
Right. Listen, right. See, when you reach to global matrix equation, you try to impose, or rather you need to impose the boundary condition. Okay, so we need to impose a boundary condition, then the equation gets simplified. Okay, see, this is not only the use of boundary condition. Boundary conditions are going to sustain the structure in the atmosphere, right? So see, you can see the node number 1 and node number 5, it is fixed. That means node number 1 and node number 5 cannot move. That means displacement at that particular node is 0. Okay, so whenever any displacement gets 0, then what happens is that particular row, right, and that particular column gets cancelled. Okay, so I'll cancel first row, first column, and I will cancel fifth row, fifth column, right? See, now we are interested to calculate the value of U2, U3, and U4, provided we know F2, F3, and F4, right? So until and unless you put this value of F2, F3, and F4, you won't be able to calculate the value of U2, U3, and U4, right? So let's see F2. What is F2? Force applied at node 2. Okay. Now see, what is the force applied at node 2? Let me know. What is the force applied at node 2? Is there any forces applied at node 2?
No, sir.
No, see, there is no any force applied. See, if you go for node 3 and node 4, no, they have applied some load. But if you see node 2, they haven't applied, right? So we doesn't need to put any force. I will put it as 0 Newton, right? Next. What is the force applied at node 3? Node 3?
100 kilonewton.
See, it is 100 kilonewton, right? But see, we can't put it in kilonewton because we have the stiffness in Newton. Getting or not? It is in Newton per mm. So this is supposed to be again converted into Newton. So I'll put it as 100 into 10 raised to power 3 Newton. Is it okay? 100 into 10 raised to power 3 Newton. Now what is the force applied at node 4? It is 200, right? 200 kilonewton. So you need to convert that into Newton. Don't put it in kilonewton, right? Because there will be mismatch with the unit, right? Because stiffness, it is in Newton per mm. So obviously force has to be in Newton, right? Now see, both the forces are going towards right hand side. That's why I taken it as a positive. Getting, if some force is going on left hand side, you need to take it as negative. This convention we need to follow, right? Now we need to solve this equation in a calculator, right? How will do that? All of you know this one. How to solve this in a calculator?
Yes, sir.
So all of you solve also. I will also solve, right? And just check what answer you are getting. So I need to go to this mode, right? I need to solve. Okay, I need to solve the system equation 3 unknown. See here, system equation with 3 unknowns. Okay, so I'll put the values 550, then minus 300, then minus 150, right? 500 minus 300 minus 150 and then 0, right? Then I have minus 300, then I have 300, then 0 and 100 into 10 raised to power 3. 100 into 10 raised to power 100 into 10 raised to power 3. 100 into 10 raised to power 3, right? Next, minus 150, then 0, 350, right? Then 200 into 10 raised to power 3. 200 into 10 raised to power 3, right? So all of you know, let me know how much answer you're getting. Let me know what answer you're getting.
U2000, U4000.
See, U2 I am getting as 1000
Yes, sir. 1000.
mm. U3 I am
Yes,
getting
sir.
it as
1333.84.
1333.33 mm. Next, U4 I am getting it as 1000. Right? So these are the values of U2, U3, and U4. See, now all of you, we have just calculated a value. We don't know whether our values are correct or not, right? So for that, we need to calculate the reactions, right? So see, the point where displacement is 0, obviously on that point only you will get a reaction, because you have the displacement 0 wherever you have fixed support, right? So wherever there is a fixed support, there is displacement is 0. So obviously at that point only you will get a reaction. So reaction will be F1 and F5. So in order to calculate the value of F1, how will calculate F1? Let me know. How will calculate F1? Tell me how will calculate F1? Let me know fast.
Multiplying first row with first column.
Right. We need to go by multiplication of first row with first column, right? So let's do that. See, 100 into U1 plus minus 100. See here, minus 100 into U2 plus 0 into U3 plus 0 into U4 plus 0 into U5 is equal to F1. I understood this one. See, element to element multiplication you need to do. You need to multiply first row with this column. How will you do that? You need to do with element to element multiplication. This into this plus this into this, right? Plus this into this plus this into this and this into this, right? So this is what is written, right? So now you put the values. 100 into U1 itself is an 0 value plus minus 100 into U2. We have calculated it as 1,000, right? U2 is 1,000. This is 0, this is 0, this is 0. So it's equal to F1, right? So what value of F1 you are getting?
0.
How F1 is 0?
Minus
F1.
100 kilonewton.
Okay, that is I'm getting as minus 100. Okay, minus 100 into 10 to the power 3, right? I will write down minus 100 into 10 to the power 3 Newton. Is it okay? This is minus 100 and 1,000 I will write down as 10 to the power 3. Right? Next, go for F5. How will you calculate F5? Last row multiplied by this column, right? So 0 into U1 plus 0 into U2 plus 0 into U3 plus minus 200 into U4 plus 200 into U5, right, is equal to F5. Is equal to F5. See, last row multiplied by this column. So 0 into U1 plus 0 into U2 plus 0 into U3 minus 200 into U4 plus 200 into U5, right? That is it. So this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, right? So what you will have? Minus 200 into U4, and U4 is again 1,000. U4 is 1,000 plus 200 into U5 is 0. So is equal to F5. So let me know what value of F5 you're getting.
Minus 200.
Minus 200 into 10 raised to 3 Newton.
Minus 200 into 10 to the power 3 Newton, right? Clear or not? Now you have these displacements. Now we need to calculate summation of forces in x direction. So which are these forces? You have F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4 plus F5. All the forces you need to add, right? So just add all these forces. F1, what F1 you have calculated? Minus 100 into 10 to the power 3 plus F2 is 0 plus F3 is 100 into 10 to the power 3 plus F4 is 200 into 10 to the power 3 plus F5 is minus 200, okay, into 10 to the power 3, minus 200 into 10 to the power 3. So what answer you're getting? You're getting value to be equal to 0, right? So that means whatever the values of displacement that you got are right. These values of displacement are right. Then only your summation of forces is tending to 0, right? Understood all of you this one?
Yes, sir.
Let me know. Is it been clear to you, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
Now
sir.
see, what thing which we have basically done is, see, in the problem, they have already given the K1, K2, K3. See, these are nothing but the springs. So spring is nothing but an element, because every spring will have some different value of stiffness. So every element, every spring is an element. So we already know the elements. Thing is like that, just we need to assign the nodes. So simple, just go on assigning the nodes starting from left towards right. Okay, so here we have called it as node 1, Node 1 will connect element number 1 to fixed support. Okay, this we will call it as node 2, this will call it as node 3, this is 4, and this is 5, right? After that, we have written element matrix equation. From that, we have calculated element stiffness matrices. Okay, after getting element stiffness matrices, we have clubbed element stiffness matrices so as to get a global matrices. Now, once you have global matrices, okay, we have imposed certain boundary conditions, right? After imposing the boundary conditions, okay, we have put the values of the forces which have been applied, and we solve these 3 simultaneous equations for getting the values of unknowns. Once we have the unknowns, okay, once we have calculated the value of unknowns, after that we have calculated the reactions, right? Once we have our reactions, we have calculated the value of summation of forces, and it is tending to 0. That means our answers are right. Understood this one, all of you? Understood or not? Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Which of you understood this one? Okay. So see, this is the problem which is basically based on structural field, right? These problems are based on structural field. Okay. So see what we have done initially. Initially, we have taken horizontal taper bar, right? Horizontal tapered bar we have seen. After that, we have taken. See, initially we have taken simple bar, which is of uniform cross section. After that, we have taken the tapered bar horizontally. Then we have taken vertical tapered bar. Then we have taken structural analysis with thermal effect. After that, we have seen the problem of torsion, right? And now we have finished the problem on spring. So this covers your structural field, right? So after this, we'll be taking the problems on thermal field, right?